So I'm gonna display what I've created so far for the rigging tool. As we see here, I have a shelf. It's called CRT. We have two icons. One is to create the demi-curve skeleton, on which we will create the actual skeleton for, and this is what that does. I've automated this part. I'll show you how it works. I'll need to delete this shelf first. As I import here my main class with its functions, I have here something. I have a main class which is called build shelf. This part automates everything which I need to know. It creates a new shelf based on the content of a folder, and we'll see now what it does. Here the result is building character rigging shelf, and we have one right here with its icons. What you see, the TBA is something that I need to work on, but what it does is it builds the base. And here we have the base skeleton. It's well, the dummy skeleton. For the actual skeleton, I can move the parts, I can rotate them. Oh, and the thickest world, no, it's local. At least in Z it's still the same. I need to fix that one. As you can see, I can rotate them the way I want. And this is the clavicle part, so it needs to be a bit lower. The upper arm, which is actually the shoulder part, rotate it that way. And here we have the elbows. So now our arm is at the correct position. No, maybe a bit back. These are the legs. It's this part is actually the toes. And if we can move it this way, everything's parotted. So what I do here, as you saw before, I rotate, everything goes along just like with the normal leg. Then this is the femur. Here we have the part of the knee, so we want this one a bit bended, and this one as well actually. I just can do this world. Still does weird. I fixed. So these are the ankles, so you want those a bit there. This is actually your ball joint. Here we have the toes. So what we can do is rotate it a bit, rotate these as well. Now we have a reasonable foot. And this is a spine with some smaller handles. What we can do this way is just select multiple controllers. Last one's not necessary. Then bend it the way we want. Well, the first part bends a bit like this. Then we need to make this one go back again. Here we have, I like this. I like the shape of it. It's a bit to where maybe a bit lower in the legs, maybe shorten the arms. I don't like this part. So yes. Now I like this shape of the skeleton that I want to create. Maybe the legs a bit more apart. and on that we create this one. Now as you've seen, now we have the skeleton, each is based on the position. The rotation is quite correct. In the end I need to fix this part, but the end joints are fine for this moment. As you can see, we have this group and this part. This here, it has the curve which is templated, so no, you can't touch it, you just control it with the control curves. This is the cluster group. I'll show the clusters. The user should not see them, so I'll hide them by default. This is the curve skeleton, so we can move it and say, well, I want to resize the entire thing, I want it bigger. It just, actually, you just scale the root controller of each curve, so which means the rest follows. And it's better because if you're gonna scale everything, you're gonna move it as well. You see, it grows exponentially, which is not what I want. This is skeleton, so I'm gonna hide the rest. Skeleton. From this part on, you can actually already start rigging your way what you want if you have things, but I want to go more elaborate on this, and that's why I have this. I hope you can see it. I don't know, so we'll see later on. The buttons have icons. The icons I have here. So this is something I encountered recently. The icons are not showing up in this part. I made this UI with QDesigner, converted with PySide, which is you can be found within Maya. This should do the arms. This does the hands. This is the legs. So if I want a new leg in there, I just can throw a new leg in there. And let's create a hand. Oh. Wrong mistake, same mistake, but as you can see, the indexing is there. I have like 001 main, 002 main, so this part makes sure that I cannot create duplicates, and when it does, Maya goes haywire because it has multiple objects with the same naming, and then you have conflicts later on with the rigging system. That's how I try to counter those errors. This for the hand. Oh, everything's lag. That's fine. I'll need to fix this later. That's actually right here. Probably just some, yes, I did lag, and I created the wrong part. So this is where I link every action which can be found in these parts. So the limp arm creates an arm, the leg, the curve joints. This is for the control curves. I needed this one and I had this one there, so the downside is that I need to restart Maya before this is launched correctly. Somehow that's a very weird bug. These buttons at this moment don't work. Let's create the right hand. It does nothing. No. And this part should build the full skeleton, just as it's the same function as this button. This will apply a basic IK rig to the part, so when you have an arm, you have an IK arm, or if you like, you have the correct setting for the leg. This will remove your skeleton entirely. Well, the idea of this part is actually that you have the colors. You can select your controller, select on color, and it will just override the color settings. I will demonstrate it with this part, what it should do. So you have this part which is drawing overrides. It will enable it and then go to the color that I want. Now this is done by numbers, so I need to figure that one out, but I want a green one. Oh, actually for red one. Yes. That's green. This is the basic principle of what this should do. Select it, select the color, and we'll set the override, set the color there. The downside is when you use layers, when you layer a curve. Let's go channels, layer 1. Have layered the curve. Now it has, because this one has no color, this has its default color. So nice, they fixed that one. This is pretty neat. But that will come in handy. Not needed. This one is will be an interesting option. What I want to do is, like, you select the controller that you have, you select the type, and then switch your root button. You'll have your new controller at the position of your old controller with the same functions. I'm gonna fiddle around with that because I actually want to exchange this one, the actual shape, and not the transform node. You can, if you don't know the difference, you can see it here. I selected NURBS curve at this moment, but if I do this NURBS curve, this is the transform node, which is actually this one. It has its name, and here you can have all the transforms and all the constraints, and everything goes through this node. And the NURBS circle shape is actually the shape of the curve you see right now. So I need to exchange that node for another node which contains the correct shape. The options, this will be the joint size, so you can create it. I have ints, which you can also, I think you can type in this one, yeah, so just say 2 and create 2. And that's just a small explanation for what the UI is going to be. I'm going to extend the UI even more with functions like convert the a full FK, or switch IK for FK, IK and FK both. I'm gonna, for the options, I want to have the suffix name. For example, if you create a constraint, which I can I can show it here. It should have a constraint. Here it is. I have for a parent constraint, I use PCON, parent constraint. So I want to have a field here which has constraint suffixes or prefixes for certain elements within the rig, so you can set it up your own way. And that's what this tool is all about. It's like dynamically create something, adjust something without breaking the entire rig. I know it's shooting for stars, but that's what I'm gonna do. Thank you for watching. I hope you found it enjoyable and information. Maybe you have some new information from this part. I will keep you posted.